Hey guys, welcome back. We are here for another 20-minute pop-up, not 19, not 21, 19 minutes with my good friend Joey Bibbo. And we're going to talk about the top 3 things that you cannot screw up if you're going to have success in this business. Joey, the shirtless closer, coming to us. Where are you out of?
I'm coming live from Colombia,
I love
Medellin,
it.
Colombia.
I love it. 1,000% humidity there. Clothing is optional. And we're going to talk about some things. So, Joey, what is the number one thing that you cannot be screwing up if you're going to run a successful business today?
I'd say number one is you need a sales process, especially if you're in a wholesaling
Yeah.
business.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
I 100% believe in that. We used to say in our company, simple is scalable. But let's talk about that process. What are some of the things that maybe a newer investor needs to be implementing or be thinking about?
Absolutely. So let's say that you're in real estate wholesaling, for
Hmm.
example, and you're on the acquisition end. You need a sales process that's repeatable. So, like every single call with the seller should basically be identical. There's obviously going to be
Hmm.
different parts of the call where, like, the problems are going to be different, the solutions might be different,
Right.
but every single call essentially should be almost identical where like you're taking them through the same experience on every
Yeah.
single call, and it's giving you a cadence because I feel like when a lot of people don't
Yeah.
have that, they're basically kind of like shooting from
Yeah.
their hip, and it's not, it's like it gets very
Mhm.
unorganized
Mhm. Yeah,
basically.
I think that makes sense, right? We don't want to be recreating the wheel every single time we're doing this, right? Trying to figure out a whole new path. So, okay. So kind of like can you really break that down a little bit? Like what are some of those just basic broad steps that like if I wanted to write down and take notes that I should be following?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, on every single call, I feel like in a sales process, you need at least a
Hmm.
intro where you're gonna kind of vet
Yep.
them up front, make sure that you're actually talking to the
Mhm.
right person. You're speaking with someone that, especially in acquisitions, is a real seller that wants to kind of
Yeah.
sell right now. And then once you get them through the vetting stage, for me, I make sure that they're also a decision maker. They're the only decision maker that needs to be here for the
Hmm.
call, and then make sure that if we do come to terms on numbers, we're going to start the process
Hmm.
right now, and then from there, the next part of the framework is an upfront agreement. So that's kind of basically just stating like this is how this call is going to go. So however your guys' process is, once you kind of identify
Yeah.
the process, just basically write that out and tell the seller like this is the way our process works. This is how this call is going to go. For us, it's we're going to ask you questions, get you an
Hmm.
offer, sign a contract, send it over to title. This is how you're going to get paid. And for us, it's kind of just setting the stage for how the call is going to go, and what that does, the upfront agreement, is it gives you control of the call and it makes it so that you're in the driver's seat and the seller's not driving you, kind of thing.
I love that. So what are maybe some of the objections that you get when you're trying to do this with sellers? Is there any places where you get frequent pushback?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, there's gonna be pushback with a lot of the sellers. Sometimes it might just be that they're not ready to sign the
Hmm.
paperwork right now. Sometimes it's just like maybe for me, if they're not the only decision maker and someone else has to be there, I
Okay.
reschedule the call. Sometimes that's the biggest pushback, and then other times it's just like I'm looking at their price. They want 500K. The house is worth
Yeah.
200K. And then when that's still a little bit of pushback. I'm kind of just trying to see like, are you a real
Hmm.
seller? And then I'll still take them through the process if I identify that they're
Right.
actually
Yeah,
real.
I agree with that. I think we want to, to me, the success I had is I want to figure out what their motivation is. Like, why do you want to sell? Like in my mind, I'm trying to think of what is the thing that's keeping them up at night. If this is keeping them up, why? Like, what is their reason for needing to sell? And then if we can establish that, then we can figure out the pricing thing after, right? How badly do they need to sell? Sometimes I'll ask people, hey man, Joey, on a scale of 1 to 10, like how quick do you need to move this thing? 10 being like today, just give me a number, just so.
And then they're like
Yeah,
two, and
cool.
you're
Hey, listen, I
like,
may not be the right solution for you. I really specialize in, working with people who need a fast, quick, easy solution. Sounds like you have a lot of time on your hands or you're not really in a hurry, something like, make them,
and then that's how you're
yeah,
pushing back
push it
with
back to
them.
them and make them sell me on, no, no, I really do. Anyway, something like that. Well, cool. So awesome. I love that. You got to have a system. You got to have a process. What is the number 2 thing that I really need to be doing in my business or anybody who's listening right now to make sure that I have success and I'm not screwing up? What's the second thing?
I'd say number two is just make sure that you're in it for the right
Mm,
reasons. So I'm reading Zig Ziglar's book right now, The Secrets of
yeah.
Closing the Sale. one of the things in the book that he just keeps going over is like, obviously, you got to have good morals and values when you're in business. I feel like that kind of goes
Does it
without
though?
saying,
I mean,
but
you think that because we're like good moral people, but there are people in this business who are kind of scumbags, and that's why we're getting regulation all over the board. But sorry,
yeah.
it's a real thing.
No, it is true, and I think that's kinda why we
Yeah,
gotta talk about it, because there's people that they think they're getting in it for the right reasons, but really they're getting in it just to make a lot
yeah,
of money quick, and they see the Instagram ads or people showing that they're making these 20, 100, 200 grand
yeah,
checks, whatever it is, and they get excited by that, but they're really not in it to help people and really
mhm,
find solutions for people, so when they're coming across, all it's ever coming across as is, like, as we call in the industry, commission pressure, just kinda forcing sales down
yeah,
people's throats and really just trying to strong arm people when
mhm,
it's like if you can just find the right solution for people and you're in it for
yeah,
the right reasons and like you're really genuinely trying to help people, then eventually you're gonna end
mhm.
up helping people through that. And it's also gonna come off a lot more
Sure.
genuine when you're on the
Yeah,
phones.
something that I would talk to my team about all the time is, these are real people. These are real people with real problems. And, you cannot be a complete psychopath and just be in it for the money. Do we want to make money? Of course. Nothing wrong with that. There's zero wrong with being an investor and making money, because we bring a special set of talents to the game, right? We come in and we know how to solve problems that typically they don't understand how to get through, whether it's bad title issues or whatever. And an agent doesn't want to be bothered with it, maybe because it's an $80,000 house and they only do $500,000 houses or some crazy shit like that. So, um, yeah, we come in, it's our job to help people. And it's okay to, you know, figure out what those things are that's bothering them, that whatever that's keeping them up at night. And, approach this from the point of view of, hey, how do I help this person? And, hopefully, I've got all the different tools so I can help them no matter what the situation is. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I'm just very big on being
Mhm.
solution based because like there's a lot of people that learn there's the other facets other than
Sure.
just cash offers like the creative
Mhm.
stuff,
Yeah.
novations, and they hear these things where it's like, oh my god, I could give a seller more
Mm.
money for their house than I could do cash, so they start pitching
Yeah.
everyone on it. And for me, it's like to find the best solution for
Yeah.
that seller, it's really figuring out like do they need the
Right.
money now or is it going to be over time? Are they okay doing that? Is that something that's
Right.
feasible for them? And then once you kind of get into the situation of what's going on with why they're selling the house, get deep into it, really know their
Mhm.
whole situation, then you can genuinely provide the right solution for them. And you're not just like, oh, well, that cash offer didn't make sense. So let me pitch you a creative deal now. I'm going to pitch you owner finance. I'll give you your
Yeah.
asking price. But it's like they need the money. So you can't really
Yeah.
do an owner finance with them.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, this is where sometimes even as the owner of the company, if you're an owner operator, you're going to be better at this than if you have a whole sales team. Having a sales team, that's a little tougher to teach that. But yeah, agreed. We can't shoehorn in everything is going to be innovation or everything is going to be sub two. And we see that in some of these communities. Yeah, find out what's going on with the seller. What's the right solution? Do they need to close quick? Do they need cash, but they have a lot of time? Are they looking for the highest price and don't care if you list it on the market? I mean, there's just so many variables there. So it's kind of like a Venn diagram, right? Of all these interlocking, circles where we've got to be able to kind of move the needle and figure out which spot they should be on. So I think that's incredibly good advice. Um, cool. Anything else before we move on to the third thing?
I'd say on that, it just gets a little deeper. Just know your
Yeah.
guys' why. Understand why you're really doing this. And even if it's just for money, just make sure that you're trying to help people, even if you are distracted. Because I mean, at the end of the day, the first thing when you
Mhm.
get in business is you need money,
Right.
and I get it. So it's fine to be like
Mhm.
that, but just make sure that you're not trying to screw people and that you're just being honest and open and
Yeah.
communicating with them. And that's what will help the business. Where if you're just worried about that
Yeah.
quick dollar and you're more worried about the quick dollar than just doing things
Mhm.
the right way, you're going to lose so much more money by looking for
Right.
the quick dollar than you would if you just looked long term with
Yeah,
everything.
I've always said that, even especially when I was working just in Chattanooga, wholesaling here. Um, I've never wanted like some old woman at 10 o'clock on a Friday night at Walmart to be like, that fucking guy screwed me. Like that will never happen. It's not who we are. It's not what we wanted to do. But the great thing about real estate for those of you that are watching this who maybe have not started yet is real estate, especially wholesaling, is amazing, right? Anybody can do it, black, white, tall, skinny, short, shirt, no shirt, whatever, right? Like it's a very low barrier of entry. We can all get into this business and make a lot of money, and you should. It'll change your life. The bad thing about wholesaling, very low barrier of entry. Anybody can come in and do it. And, we get those people that come in and just, because the people that we're talking to typically are in some type of distress. So it is unfortunately easy to take advantage of them. But that's why our industry is getting regulated so bad, because there's been so much of that type of stuff. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah, just do
do
the
the
right
right
thing,
thing.
guys. That's what it really
Yeah,
comes
and
down
it's
to.
not hard. Again, unless you're, Hannibal Lecter, you're a psychopath. You should know in your gut when you're screwing people over. But it happens. We've had to fire a couple of clients that were just out there doing the wrong thing. But let's move on. What is the third thing that you cannot be screwing up if you want to make money and have some longevity in this business?
Stay in the same
Oh
lane.
yeah.
So I'd say this is where I have failed the most until
Mhm.
recently. I'm a
Yeah.
visionary at heart, so I definitely will get into many different lanes. The one thing I will say is I've only wholesaled for the last 5 years. I haven't tried
Nice.
to do anything else in that sense. But in terms of staying in the same lane and internally in the business, I mean, I've jumped from market to market to market to
Yeah.
strategy to strategy to strategy, everything involving in wholesaling. But I'd say one, stay in the same lane in terms of like if you're just learning the business, figure out what facet of it you really like, and then just learn
Mhm.
that first. Because like you can't learn cash offers, creative offers, novation
Mhm.
offers all in
Yeah.
the same day. You got to learn one thing
Mhm.
at a time, master that thing, and then you can move on
Yeah.
to the next. And if you're gonna go crazy if you try to get into too many things at
Mhm.
once. Trust me.
No, dude, you're right. I've been doing this business since 2002, so 23 years, a ridiculous amount of time. And I can't tell you the number of people that I've seen come in flaming hot. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna be the biggest thing that's ever walked the face of the earth. And then 3 months later, they're gone because one thing again, another thing about real estate is it's like being a doctor. You can be the eye doctor, the nose doctor, the butt doctor, the toe doctor, whatever. Well, real estate's the same way. You can come in and you can wholesale and you can rehab and you can do storage units and you can do vacant land and you can, be a flipper and you can be a landlord and lease options. I mean, there's so many different ways to do real estate. You have to just pick one. Pick one and become the fucking best at it. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert, and you got to put in the time. You got to get up to the plate. You got to swing the bat, and that's a lot of what we've talked about today is just getting in those reps until you feel very comfortable, and you're able to do this without being nervous, and then you can actually help some people.
Absolutely. And it's like the 3 feet from
Yeah,
gold analogy.
great.
Like there's so many people that I'll give you even
Mhm.
marketing channels, for example. Like they'll be in a marketing channel, they'll go 90
Yeah,
days into it, they'll be like, these leads suck, and they're blaming the leads and
yeah,
everything. And then I have people in my community, I'll listen to the calls and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. It's not the leads, guys. It's the freaking calls. Like this is
yeah,
what we gotta fix. And once we fix the sales process, or you could be doing the right sales process, but maybe it was
yeah.
120 days instead of 90 days. Maybe it took four
Hmm.
months instead of three
Hmm.
months to win. But like, what if it took you 4 or 5 months to win and you stayed in that
Yeah,
same lane? And then every month after that, you were
right.
consistently winning.
Yeah,
And I think,
somebody like you, or some of the, the kind of the heavy hitter closers out there, you're gonna close 1 out of 10. But somebody starting out cannot expect, I'm gonna call 10 people and close one of them. No, you're probably gonna close one in 40, like when you first start. It's just, or maybe
maybe
more. Yeah,
more.
it could be 1 in 60 if you really suck. But the good news is, like, practice will make it better. Like, our brain will learn. Oh, don't do that again. Don't touch the hot stove. Don't say dumb shit. But you're not until you actually, get out there and start having the reps, getting up to the plate, taking the swings. You're just not going to know. But if you consistently go out there and do this every single day, you're going to go from 1 in 40 to 1 in 20 really fast. Then you're going to go from 1 in 20, 1 in 15, right? And then you're going to get to that 1 in 10, but you're going to have to take 1,000 calls. Nobody like Joey didn't just magically become really great at fucking closing people. It's 5 years of doing the reps. So, one thing that we like to talk about in closings all the time is just time compression, right? If, if I was to say to somebody, how long will it take you to walk a mile? It's what, 4,500 feet or some shit like that. Like I could take one step a day, Great, I can make one call a day, or I could make 200 calls a day, 300 calls a day, right? So where it could have taken me 10 years to walk a mile, can I do it in 5 years? Can I do it in 4 years? Can I do it in 3 years? Can I do it in 6 months, right? It's just a matter of how much time are you willing to put in.
Absolutely. And the more time, the more reps,
Mhm.
and the more susceptible you are to
Yeah,
failing and
yeah.
willing to fail, the quicker you're going
Mhm.
to learn.
Yeah, guys, these aren't like just like catchphrases that people say, like find your why, do the reps. I mean, this is stuff like the people who have done this business and had success and longevity year over year over year. Like, this is the secret. There's no shortcut. Like, yep, get a mentor, get a coach. Like, that's gonna knock off the rough edges, right? But to still become an expert in this business, you're just gonna have to do the time. You're gonna have to put it in. I am a big proponent of having mentors and coaches. 100%. They can review your calls, go, hey, do not do this again, right? Like you'll make rapid jumps forward, but and that's the compressing time. But you can do it the hard way, and maybe it takes you 5 or 8 years to figure out how to get to 1 in 10. Me personally, I'd want to get a great coach or be in a community, and you know just accelerate that timeline as much as I could.
Yeah, I took 3 years to get my
Yeah,
first mentor. And I was doing exactly what you're saying. I was just calling
yeah,
and calling and not figuring out. I was letting myself, I got good at
yeah.
closing from it, but I would have probably been a lot further ahead
Mhm.
along had I gotten a mentor
Yeah.
way, way quicker in the business,
Yeah, and that's
honestly.
I see this on, and you probably see this too on in Facebook groups and stuff like, why should I pay this mentor? Everything's free online. Well, yeah, sure. There's a lot of shit online. Who knows if it's recent, if it's true, if the people who are talking have really done 1,000 deals, or if they're just kind of BSing you, because anybody can sit across the top of a Lambo and flash a fake Rolex. But are these people that have really done the business and have had sustainable success, right? Those are the people that you want to align yourself with, and they can give you the real life advice of how to do this just as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. You gotta just get around the right people, and then things just start to kinda
Right.
go your way. To it takes the work. It's not gonna be magic, but once you guys put in the work and you get
Yeah.
around the right people and stay in the same
Yeah.
fricking lane, then you guys will start seeing the
Yeah.
success.
Do not.
It's not gonna happen when you want it to, but it's gonna happen when
Yeah,
it was
don't
meant
jump
to.
like it. And again, social media is terrible for this, because somebody pops up and like, storage units, greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. Crypto, be a landlord, buy notes. Like, we're just bombarded with so many different things, and they all work. They all work. My advice to people is find something that fits your personality and do things that you want to do. Like, I would never want to do short sales, because I don't want to sit and talk to banks all day. It's not my personality. I want to be like you. I want to be out talking to people and making stuff happen. So yeah, find that niche of real estate that you enjoy doing, that you can get up and do every day for 90 days, before you get paid, because you have to really love doing this stuff, right? You can't hate real estate and be a wholesaler. It's not going to work. It's going to be very tough, just tough to plow through and make it happen.
Absolutely. You gotta love talking to people at the end of the day. If you guys don't like talking to people, I mean, you can do it. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
start liking it, but you gotta learn to love talking to people to get
Yeah,
stuff
real
done
quick.
here.
Like, I present to groups all the time. I'm presenting to one in about half hour, but I'll be like, dude, turn your cameras on. If you're too shy to have your face on a Zoom or raise your hand and ask a question, you're gonna have a hard time talking to buyers and sellers. So, anyways, Joey, thank you so much, man. Real quick, what's the best way for people to follow you, get a hold of you? Maybe get involved in your group and really get some of that expert help.
Absolutely. Shirtless Closer on Instagram. That's probably the best way to reach me. Facebook has a stupid app that you have to message
Oh
me
yeah.
separately. So Shirtless Closer on Facebook, Joey Bibbo, or I'm sorry, Shirtless Closer on Instagram, Joey Bibbo on Facebook. If you guys need me, always here to
Guys,
help
I've
you
been watching
guys.
it. Great content. And he sits on there and just makes calls all day, so you can watch them live. But definitely reach out, connect to Joey. You guys won't regret it. Joey, thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you soon.